fellow Dominicans living at home and abroad, residents, visitors, friends, and well-wishers. I wish first to thank and applaud all concerned for the seamless way in which the country regrouped and resettled following the failed attempt to destabilize this country on 7 February 2017. We commend the Chief of Police and his officers for the tremendous restraint shown and for their decisive action in bringing the situation under control. Thankfully, the riotous behavior left no one dead. It resulted, however, in millions of dollars in damage to private property and an eternal stain on the image of Dominica as a peaceful people, respectful of democracy and due process. Scenes of that unfortunate evening shall remain etched in our minds for months and years to come. I am happy, however, that at least normalcy has returned to our way of life. The commercial sector is trying, as best it can, to rebound from the unfortunate incidents of looting, burning, and other forms of vandalism instigated by irresponsible politicians. Investigations and assessments are still underway, but as I said previously, the government will do all it in its power to assist the victims of such thoughtless acts of vandalism. Of course, while the Dominica Police Force is continuing its investigations, I am happy that, for the most part, the vast majority of Dominicans have stepped aside and allowed the police to do their work. It is unfortunate that those who encouraged this breakdown of law and order, who hatched this plot, and who precipitated the riotous behavior that we witnessed on 7th of February, are also the ones who repeatedly incite and invite persons to police headquarters every time someone is brought in for questioning about that incident. Clearly, from this, all Dominicans can see that there is no remorse and no regret for the damage that this reckless behavior caused to property, to the normal conduct of business, and to the image of Dominica in the region and around the world. Of course, we all witnessed to the anecdotal visit by the leader of the opposition when he sought to gate crash the CARICOM heads of government meeting in Guyana. It did not escape the regional media that the authorities at the Ogle Airport in Guyana were inconvenienced and embarrassed in the provision of an appropriate means of transportation to the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies as a result of his car being commandeered by the leader of the opposition of Dominica. These happenings, though somewhat comical, I must say, are nonetheless hurtful to the image of Dominica as a serious, politically mature country. All Dominicans would have been extremely embarrassed by the behavior of the opposition leader and the fact that other leaders of government in the region did not find the unwelcome, irresponsible, and undignified visit of a Dominica opposition delegation amusing. Notwithstanding the opposition antics, we shall continue to forge ahead with our social and economic development plans for Dominica and Dominicans. I am both relieved and happy to report to you this evening that, notwithstanding the best efforts of the conspirators, both at home and abroad, government revenues have kept a pace of projections. Thankfully, we continue to be blessed, and there is no evidence that the concerted and orchestrated campaign against the Citizenship by Investment program and this government is gaining any traction or having any adverse impact on the country's finances. Our program, we contend, is among the better regulated and most respected in the region and indeed the global industry. It is our intention and determination to continue to monitor and, where necessary, improve the Citizenship by Investment program to ensure that it maintains that billing, irrespective of the petty politics played out by its detractors in the country and outside. Now, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this period of heightened focus on Dominica's CBIP, the issue of diplomatic appointments has arisen. I consider it appropriate and timely at this moment to address this matter once more. I have already acknowledged my regret at the unfortunate turn of events with respect to a few persons holding diplomatic passports becoming persons of interest to foreign countries and external security organizations. As I have pointed out before, in every instance that we have discovered that someone in the service of the government of Dominica has run afoul of the law, or indeed been suspected of so doing, we were proactive in suspending or terminating the relationship. However, we do recognize that such incidents have highlighted the need for improvement in the way we conduct business, and this is a matter of concern which is receiving the urgent, focused attention of the government of Dominica. Fellow citizens, friends, and well-wishers, the reality is that small islands such as Dominica are not in a position to finance a permanent presence in all crucial and important centers of the world. Already, we are hard-pressed to meet commitments to existing embassies, consulates, and multilateral agencies in Europe, North America, and elsewhere, where we have state-supported representation. The vast majority of diplomatic appointments have represented this country admirably. They have, in large part, caused Dominica to be a major voice and a major player on issues and in fora where we were not even known or heard of 20 years ago. So we do need to maintain a strong diplomatic presence in emerging markets, and we will continue to rely heavily on the generosity of genuine, law-abiding citizens of the world who love Dominica and have a keen interest in its continued advancement and development. The facts are, and I repeat here for emphasis, that the individuals who were or are now suspected of wrongdoing, or who were or are persons of interest, were at the time of appointment, based on information available to us, highly respected individuals with unblemished records of achievement and success. There is no way of one knowing today how anyone appointed tomorrow will fare in the eyes of the world next month, far less next year. For instance, an elected member of our parliament has been issued with and holds a diplomatic passport and was arrested and charged last year for a very serious sexual offense against a minor. Those who marched in the streets of Roseau, those who instigated the rioters' behavior of February 7th, and those who flew to Guyana last week, embarrassing the country, have absolutely nothing to say about what should be done in that instance in relation to that member of parliament. Nevertheless, the government of Dominica is being told that it should resign. This is the hypocrisy that characterizes politics and public life in Dominica today. We seem to forget a fundamental principle by which we are guided, and that is that a person is presumed innocent until he has been found guilty by a court of law. If we were to adopt the stance that some have chosen to do, to proclaim people guilty before due process has been gone through, then we should have already revoked the diplomatic passport of that member of parliament. The government of Dominica is mindful, however, that more can and must be done to eliminate as far as possible any scandal in respect of persons chosen to represent our interests abroad. As I have indicated before, a professional review of our processes of issuance of diplomatic and official appointments, which commenced last year, is ongoing. However, the government believes there are a few measures that can be put in place immediately to tighten safeguards and to address concerns of citizens and other stakeholders. We have decided, therefore, that an interim policy will be introduced. This will be gazetted next week and be available on the government website for review by all. Among other things, this interim policy will speak to the following. Effective immediately, all non-nationals under consideration for diplomatic and consular appointments will be subjected to the same due diligence requirements as persons applying for citizenship under the Citizenship by Investment program of Dominica. So henceforth, not only would a prospective appointee have to meet and satisfy the requirements of the government of Dominica, but that person would also have to be cleared by an internationally rated and recognized global security agency that would carry out the necessary due diligence exercise. This would include ensuring that they do not have any criminal record, are of good reputation, and proven competence, and possess the requisite skills necessary to function in the designated role. Where applicable, there must also be declarations on source of funds and disclosure of business activities of the proposed appointee. It should be noted that all future consular and diplomatic appointments shall be for a period of no more than 3 years at any one appointment. There will also be more rigorous monitoring of all appointees to ensure that these persons are doing an effective job for our country, and more so, that they continue to be held in high regard by their peers and in the country in which they're representing our interests. Fellow Dominicans, ladies and gentlemen, it is my fervent wish that we use the approaching Lenten season to stop and reflect on what's right and appropriate in the sight of God and man, with respect to the manner in which we go about packaging and promoting our country. A house that is divided will not stand. Yes, the partisan political temperature in Dominica is always high. There will never be consensus on all issues, but we do not have to resort to slash and burn methods to stress and get our points across. I have said before, and I shall repeat here again, that misuse of social media can make or break small islands such as Dominica. It is shameful to hear and read of some of the things said by Dominicans about Dominica and other Dominicans. While all citizens are free to express their views and associate with the party of their choosing, it must at all times be remembered that at the end of the day, it is Dominica that is left with a black eye. It is a worsening image and reputation of Dominica that we will have to deal with if and when the electorate considers it appropriate to hand the reins of office to the party and its leaders. Therefore, I wish to reiterate that the start of the Lenten season in a few days' time is an appropriate time for Dominicans, at home and abroad, to recommit to the cause of promoting and upholding all that is positive and exemplary about our country. These unjustified, ill-informed, and harmful rants on social media need to stop. They achieve nothing other than portraying Dominica in a negative light in the eyes of the world. The events of February 7th, though still fresh in our minds, should serve to remind us of the need to conduct ourselves in a manner that would redound to the glory and benefit of our beloved Dominica. This week is a countdown to the high point of our carnival celebrations, and I would hope that we can all, as of today, set partisan politics aside and continue to making this year's carnival one of the best ever. I am inspired by the number of visitors and returning nationals flying and sailing in for the carnival. I urge our citizens and residents, let us all act in a responsible manner so as to create an atmosphere of fun, peace, and relaxation as we enjoy the most original carnival in the Caribbean. May God grant us a safe and incident-free carnival, and may He continue to guide and protect our beautiful country, Dominica. I thank you very much.